What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. First things first, I do apologize for my extremely congested voice. I'm recovering from a terrible cold once again. Spring is nearly here, so I have a lot of allergies, so I sound very nasally. I do apologize, but today I wanted to do a video on how I avoid a cake face. Now I have combination to oily skin, I have super enlarged pores, and I'm 40, so foundations don't sit on my texturized skin all that well, so I need to prepare my skin really well before I apply foundation. So I'm going to share with you guys the steps that I take to avoid having separation, caked face, and also to keep myself looking more natural, although I like a really good coverage, not full coverage or anything like that. I've said that so many times on my channel. I like light to medium coverage, but I like everything to be covered. So as you guys can see, my face, like I don't have a lot to cover, but I've had a few breakouts. Like I have one here, and I had one over here somewhere where I can't find it right now. I'm looking at my computer, but I can't really see it. So I don't have a lot to cover, and I have under eye circles. And as I mentioned before, my skin is a little bit texturized because I'm aging and I have enlarged pores. So it's very important for you to take good care of your skin prior to applying makeup, because it's going to sit on your skin a lot better. So the first step that I do, of course, in my bathroom is to exfoliate first thing. And then I also have a gel wash where I remove all the dirt from my skin and stuff like that. So the products that I used prior to doing this video will be listed in the info bar below. My next step is to use a facial toner, and I'm using the Seaweed facial toner by the BodyShop, and I use this straight away after I wash my face or cleanse my face in the bathroom, because it's going to not only tone your face, like especially your pores, it's going to leave a smooth canvas for any other step that you're going to take afterwards. So now that the toner has completely sunk into my skin, I'm going to go ahead and moisturize. And moisturizing is very important. Even if you have very oily skin, I stress this. If you're younger, I've done that mistake before where I didn't moisturize my skin because it is oilier. Moisturizing will also minimize the amount of oil production. So the moisturizer that I'm using today is by Clinique, and this one is called the Dramatically Different Moisturizing Lotion Plus. I would say this is more geared towards normal to dry skin, but because it's quite cold still at the moment, I find it that it's very hydrating and moisturizing, and it doesn't make me look all that oily throughout the day. They also have a formula for combination to oily skin, which I've used before and I absolutely love, but this is a deluxe sample and I've been really enjoying it. What I usually do is apply my lotion at least 15 to 20 minutes before applying my foundation, and the reason why I do that is because I really want the lotion to sink into my skin and not change the foundation and kind of like make the foundation oxidize or anything like that. If it sinks into the skin, then the foundation goes on a lot better. So my next step now will be to apply a eye cream. This is very important because the under eye area is so delicate. It still needs hydration. I find that the under eye area, if I don't apply a eye cream, the concealer does not go on all that well. Now I have two in my collection, but today I am using also a Clinique sample. This one is their Pep-Start. I think that's, sorry, it's Pep-Start, that's how it's called. And I've been really enjoying this. It's very hydrating. It does not leave a film on the skin. It penetrates into the eye, making the eye feel a little bit more comfortable. The under eye area feels comfortable. There's no tightness going on. And I also feel like my concealer goes on so much better and it lasts a lot longer. I used to have to retouch my concealer around the 4th hour, and now I can actually extend that to maybe the 6th or 7th, and sometimes I don't even retouch my concealer. My next step is to prime my face. Not everybody uses primer. I 9 times out of 10 do use primer because it smooths out any imperfections like fine lines and stuff like that. It gives kind of like a protection barrier between your skin and your foundation, so I find it really important. And the primer that I've been loving, I've been using it for a while now. It's by Kevyn and this is called the Primed Skin Developer, and I really like this product. Love the packaging to start off with because it comes with a pump. It looks really luxurious, and yeah, I've been loving. I find that this primer is really good for prolonging the longevity of my foundation, and it doesn't leave a film, or it has a little bit of a tacky feeling once it starts setting, and that's the perfect time for you to apply your foundation. And yeah, like I said, it really smooths out my skin so I can have a really good foundation application. So now that my skin is prepped and primed for foundation, I'm going to start applying my foundation, and the one that I'm using today is the Nars Sheer Glow. The shade that I have here is Stromboli, in case you guys are wondering, and I'm going to be applying the foundation with a sponge. The reason why I find that sponges are so much better to avoid a cake face is because you're going to press the foundation into your skin. So what I usually do is dot my face with a foundation, and then I take my time to blend, and I feel like that's the secret of having a good blended foundation and to avoid having a cake face. I love buffing brushes. My favorite one is from Real Techniques, and I absolutely love it to buff in my foundation, but I do notice a huge difference when I use a sponge, just by pressing the foundation into the skin and really taking my time. And when I say take my time, I could take anything between 2 minutes to 5 and even longer to really make sure that the foundation is blended into my skin properly, especially around the nose. You know, the crevices of your nose is the area where foundation tends to separate, to look cakey. If you really press the foundation into your skin, I promise you the foundation will look so much better, and it will also last a lot longer throughout the day. My next step is to conceal, and I'm using the Bourjois Healthy Mix Anti-Fatigue Concealer, which I've done a review. It will be linked in the info bar below. I'm going to use my Real Techniques sponge once again, and the technique will be exactly the same as I did with the foundation. I'm going to blend the concealer with a sponge and really press it into the skin to make sure that everything has blended in. There's no space for caking or anything like that. And I find that, yes, my fingers work really well, but if I just use the sponge, it really presses the product into my skin and helps the concealer last so much longer. I suffer from under eye circles, and I hate having to retouch my concealer throughout the day because I don't feel like it looks exactly the same as it would when it's first applied in the morning. It can look a little bit cakey, but this way I actually avoid having to apply or reapply concealer throughout the day. It works really well for me. So now I have to set the concealer and the foundation. I'm going to use two different powders because what I use on my eyes is a little bit lighter and more brightening, and then my face powder is completely different. So I'm going to be using the NYX HD finishing powder in the shade Banana, and I'm going to use my dampened beauty sponge. Now I'm going to use this for nearly everything in this tutorial, and it just works really well. So what I do, I get some powder. As you can see, the sponge has powder, and I'm going to press it on my concealer, really press it in, and this is going to help set the concealer into place without making it look cakey. It works really well for me this way. Now I'm going to set my face, and I'm going to use my Mineralize Skin Finish by MAC. This is in the shade Golden Medium, and once again I'm going to use my beauty sponge, and I'm going to take as much powder as I can, not too much, but I'm going to press it onto the skin with the sponge. Instead of using a brush, I'm using the dampened sponge again because it's going to melt the powder into my skin. So my last step before applying the rest of my makeup will be using a setting spray. The one that I have here is by L'Oreal. This one is called the Infallible Fixing Mist. What I usually do is right after I set my concealer and set my foundation, I apply a few spritz of this spray because it's going to remove that powdery finish if there's any, because when I do this I don't really feel like my skin is powdery whatsoever, but it's just going to bring back a little bit of a glow and youthfulness to my skin. And then I'll let that set for a couple of minutes and I finish the rest of my makeup. So here is a finished look after taking all those prepping steps to avoid a cake face. I do hope that you guys found this video helpful. If not all the steps work for you, just hopefully you've taken a little bit of inspiration to kind of like take a few bits here and there to cater for your own needs. And please bear in mind as well that I am not a makeup artist, but this is exactly what works for me. There's a lot of videos on YouTube which are different and people recommend different things, maybe depending on your age and your skin texture. So I do hope that you guys found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you did. What type of steps do you take to avoid a cake face, and what products you take to work to kind of like retouch as well. I would absolutely love to know. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye.